We are no longer the IT department of no. We are the IT department of yes and can do and change.
The partnership between Microsoft and Johnson Controls is actually 1 + 1 = 3. Together, we create something greater than either of us could have done.
Please welcome to the stage Corporate Vice President, Microsoft 365, Ron Markusich.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us at Ignite. I really appreciate everyone taking time away from their busy schedules and coming down to Orlando. This is such an awesome partnership with this group of people. It's a partnership that happens this week and throughout the year, and we're so grateful to your ongoing feedback and commitment to make our services and products better at Microsoft and to advance the partnership we have in serving your business and your organization. You've put in a number of hours and resources engaging in the Microsoft tech community, sharing ideas through user voice, and partnering with our Microsoft teams. I really want to thank you for that partnership. This is my favorite event of all years because at this event, it really brings me back to my roots. I started my career as an IT pro coding JCL, job control language, if you remember that, about 30 years ago. And then I moved to Microsoft and joined Microsoft in Microsoft IT. 15 years ago, I moved into the CIO job at Microsoft, one of the best jobs I've ever had in my career. And if I think back over that 15 years, it's amazing how things have changed. 15 years ago at Microsoft, our primary IT data center was in Building 11 on Microsoft campus. In fact, my office was in the same building. You could walk downstairs to the data center, and it looked something just like this, which you might recognize as an old data center type of picture. And if I had to think about the last 15 years and how things have changed, I don't think anything can tell the story more than how data centers have evolved in 15 years. In fact, many of you are looking to eliminate your data centers and have no data centers at all. And at Microsoft, we're building these monster, mega data centers around the world, and we've even taken a data center and put it in the sea. If you look at that evolution over that 15 years of IT, it's amazing what is coming about. And there's not a better time than now to be an IT pro. Because one thing that hasn't changed during this time is the criticality and the role of IT in shaping the business and partnering with the business and enabling the organization. But as every company becomes a tech company, that importance is even greater as an IT pro today than ever. And one area that is evolving just as quickly as what we saw with those data centers is the workplace. The workplace is rapidly evolving because employees have new expectations for work and how it should get done. This is top of mind for all business leaders. As we interview CEOs, one of the consistent themes we get now is how they tap into the ingenuity and creativity of every employee in the organization. It's no longer about making people more productive and doing more for less. Those are certainly important. But CEOs want to make sure they stay ahead of this disruption that's happening in every industry. And to do that, they need to tap in to every employee in their organization. And to be successful with a modern workplace, they need to provide a set of tools that taps into the creativity of every individual and helps every individual do their best work. They need to have diverse teams where everyone is supporting and everyone has a voice. And there needs to be silos that are broken down and free, open, transparent flow of information. And these CEOs and business leaders are looking to us and all of you as IT pros to deliver these experiences for their employees and ensure they stay competitive. And we're looking forward to partnering with you in this because at Microsoft, all of our time, people, and resources are invested in pioneering new experiences for the modern workplace that put people at the center. Experiences that empower and excite everyone throughout their day. We're focused on putting privacy and security infused across our services and giving you privacy and security solutions that you can take and apply to your non-Microsoft solutions as well. And we're integrating AI responsibly throughout our workplace solutions. And what we're going to do today is we're going to tell you some things that we announced this morning that will help you move your organizations to a modern workplace. We're going to show you a lot of stuff, and then we're going to give you a glimpse of the future for what a set of scenarios in a modern workplace might look like. About a year ago, we introduced Microsoft 365. Microsoft 365 is a complete intelligent, secure solution to empower employees. And it really changes the way in which we build product at Microsoft. We take an outside-in approach in building product with Microsoft 365. We're building solutions the way in which you use those. We've taken Office 365, Enterprise Mobility Suite, as well as Windows 10 together into that Microsoft 365 suite. And Microsoft 365 momentum is booming. Some of the largest customers of the world and the smallest customers of the world are using Microsoft 365 today. In fact, if we look at it, it's now a multi-billion-dollar business for Microsoft and growing very quickly. And there's 4 key value pillars that we'll orient on today with Microsoft 365. Number 1, Microsoft 365 can unlock the creativity of your organization to bring out the ingenuity from everyone. It's built for teamwork to allow people to work together seamlessly. And it's integrated for simplicity to provide a complete management solution. And Microsoft 365 is infused with intelligent security, taking in the Microsoft Intelligent Security Graph and all the signals we get to help you secure your environments. And we put AI across Microsoft 365 to allow you to light up new cloud-connected capabilities. And we'll be thrilled to show you a lot of this innovation today. Let me start with creativity. It's amazing that 75% of workers say they don't have access to the technology they need to do their job efficiently. And we can help change that together. With Microsoft 365, we look to unlock that creativity of your employees, to help them create compelling content, to use AI to turn data into insights, and work naturally across any device, from a very large screen to a very small screen, from Windows OS to Mac OS, iOS, or Android. And we help you find what you need, and we'll talk a little bit about an announcement we made today with Microsoft Search that takes our search capabilities to help employees find what they need without leaving their flow of work. We announced this morning a new thing called Microsoft Ideas. Ideas, powers by AI, takes all this information and predicts what you're going to need to do with it. So you can go into PowerPoint, and as you're designing a new presentation, it will surface design ideas for you or formats for you, predicting what you want to do, ensuring that you have consistency and the best work comes forward in that PowerPoint that you're creating. Ideas can go into Excel and use all of that data in Excel and surface out insights from the analytics that happen in Excel. You'll see the Ideas button across all of the Office applications, so you can just click on that and get ideas using AI, predicting what you're going to do, and also reasoning over the content that you're working in. You need to be an Office 365 Pro Plus and Cloud Connected for this because it takes in the power of the cloud using that AI capabilities. And we'll show you that in a few minutes. We also this morning announced Microsoft Search. We're making search easier for you. There's a few things with Microsoft Search. The search box will be easier to find. It will be consistent across all the Office applications. We'll bring it consistently to Windows and Bing as well. And you'll be able to do more with the search box. In addition, for searching for people and content, you can use the search box for commands and navigation. And search will continue to get smarter. Because it's connected to the Microsoft Graph, you'll see personalized results. You'll see people, you'll see commands. It'll serve you up what you're looking for, regardless of where that information exists. It could exist in Microsoft 365, in your broader organizational content, or even on the web. We'll serve that up through Microsoft Search, where it truly brings intelligence together to serve you what you need without you having to leave your flow of work. This is a super exciting advancement in search in the business context. We've also announced earlier this year that we were able to bring together the Office code base across Mac and Windows, which allows us to bring you parity in capabilities of Office across the Mac and Windows OS. We're committed to making sure you have an awesome experience with Office, regardless of what platform you choose to use. And we also have great experiences that we're lighting up that allow you to work naturally across devices and platforms, to allow you to use voice and invoke Cortana, to allow you to use ink and touch. And if you've used any of our latest Surface devices, you really see how the power of ink and touch comes to life with Microsoft 365 and the Surface. We're committed to continuing to advance these capabilities, and today we're going to show you, the first time ever on stage in a live event, the Surface Hub 2, and what you'll be able to do with a larger screen device in Microsoft 365. And we've announced today a number of manufacturers from our ecosystem that are bringing out new devices with Microsoft Teams enabled to allow you to have new sets of meetings and interactions with people via voice and video. To show you all of this come to life, I'd like to invite out Jack Elmore from our Microsoft Technology Center. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you, Ron. Good morning. I lead our Microsoft Technology Center in Seattle, one of over 50 such centers around the world. At the MTC, we bring together customers and talented architects to experience the Microsoft Cloud and to design the next wave of business transformation solutions. As an MTC director, I need to collaborate with my architects and my V team around the world. Let's have a look at how I use Microsoft 365 each and every day. Here you can see in Microsoft Teams the conversation that we're having. And as I scroll down, I can see I've got a deck to present here on the pilot rollout. Let's go have a look. Ooh, we're going to need to polish this up a little bit. This deck is featuring St. Louis, which is our newest MTC that had a grand opening last week. But I mentioned to you I look after Seattle. So you can see here, Ideas is suggesting that I may want to add a photo to make this slide look a little bit better. But I have Seattle, so let's just go change that here. And if you observe on the right there, Ideas surfaces an intelligent set of suggestions, and I can pick the picture that's going to work great. But now pay careful attention, because what Ideas is doing now is bringing a new set of AI technology to me. So previously, I could go find Designer, I could go find Tap, and I had to know that those capabilities were there. Ideas is bringing the right tool at the right time to my work. So I'll click on this slide design. Looks great. Let's move on to slide 2. On slide 2, Ideas is helping me to understand ways in which I've been inconsistent. Here I can see sometimes I used punctuation, sometimes I didn't. So we'll tighten that up here just a bit. And then as I move to slide 3, we'll discover a different type of inconsistency, which is how I spelled the word website. Now, rather than debate that with you here today, I'll just choose one of them. All right. So that's a great example here of how Ideas is bringing intelligence to me and helping me to create professional results. But Ideas is not just a PowerPoint thing. It's across the Microsoft 365 experiences. Have a look here at the vendor initiatives that we're working on at the MTC. Now, when I get a bunch of data like this, there's a lot of work I have to do. Create some tables, maybe sort, filter. I'm starting to look for patterns and trends in the data. But with Ideas, you can see that that's been done for me in the cloud, and all I have to do is insert the chart, and I can easily spot my outliers. Pretty quick, huh? The other thing that we do, we have interactive centers at each of our MTCs, and so we roll out new exhibits and new capabilities with our partners all the time. But I need to prioritize how I do that. At the moment, I've got a series of countries here, and Excel typically just will keep track of what? Numbers, text, formulas. But now with intelligent data types, I can simply click on geography, and I'll augment the data with a bunch of additional properties. Let me click on India here, and you can see some examples of those properties. Now that I have that intelligence from Bing, what can I begin to do with it? Well, I might be able to go down there and say, well, let's add the population, shall we, of those countries. The other thing I might want to take a look at is the market capitalization of each of these countries. So if I wanted to prioritize by market cap, I could simply sort from largest to smallest, and there you have it, a priorities plan. I think my IQ is going to go up 10 points at least in the next business review. So that's an overview of how Microsoft 365 helps me to be creative, helps me to stay productive, and get my job done. But now I want to shift gears and share with you how Microsoft 365 helps keep me and my organization secure and compliant. Let's have a look. Here's an internal report. This is some sensitive data. So I want to protect it. And we have labeling and classification across the Microsoft 365 surfaces, as you can see on this Mac here. So I can classify my content as highly confidential, but I have a question for you. What do you think about a compliance policy that requires users to manually do that consistently each and every time? Makes me a little bit nervous. So I'm going to go ahead and skip classifying my content and save it. Now, I've saved that content into SharePoint, and when I go over to the SharePoint library, I'm going to be able to see how that content has been automatically classified on my behalf. So let's take a quick look here. You can see I've saved that document here just a few seconds ago. Now what's happened is SharePoint and OneDrive are aware of the same sensitive information policies that the client apps are. And so this protection has now been consistently applied, and I now have the watermark, I have the protection associated with the document automatically applied, even though I forgot. Now, as I scroll down in this document, you'll see I've got some co-authoring occurring with my team across a wide variety of surfaces, mobile, Mac, PC, all of the Microsoft 365 surfaces. Now, there are times I want to collaborate with people that are not currently editing the document. And in order to do that, I'm going to utilize a social construct called @mentions. Now, in the public forum, you're probably very familiar with @mentions. We've had them in Outlook for some time now. But if I @mention Catherine, I can simply ask my question here and say, do these look about right? And what will happen is Catherine will receive an email with my question, and she can simply reply to that, and I don't have to lose my flow in the document. There are times, however, that I want to leave a reminder for myself, and for that, I use @todo. Here I'm going to say, let's insert the MTC rollout table. And as soon as I do that, you can see intelligence now comes up and offers me a series of suggestions. And so I'll pick this particular table here and insert it right into my document there. Pretty straightforward. Now, I also am mobile, and so I'm on the go quite a bit. So what I'd like to do now is show you how I use my mobile phone to stay connected. Now here I have an email from Miriam Graham. I'm going to tap on this email from Miriam. I sort of remember Miriam, but I don't remember exactly the context. So I'm going to tap on Miriam, and here you can see I get rich information about who she is, where she is in the company, but I've also got LinkedIn data about her education and professional profile. I can simply tap there and learn more about Miriam's background. I also have a filtered view of my email and calendar that shows me upcoming appointments and correspondence with Miriam. But as I look at Miriam's hierarchical relationship to the organization and scroll down a bit further, I can also see who Miriam works with. This is populated by the Microsoft 365 graph, and it helps me to make intelligent decisions about how I might engage broadly across the organization. Well, it certainly looks like taking this meeting with Miriam would be a good idea. So I'm going to say, yes, let's meet, and I'm going to insert my availability. So here now I can look at my calendar and I can see, gee, it looks like maybe noon, 2 o'clock, maybe 3:30. Those are a series of pretty intelligent suggestions. And there you have it. I'm going to send an email to Miriam. She'll be able to simply select the option that works best for her. So I've shown you how I use Microsoft 365 at the MTC, and now it's your turn to go unlock the next wave of modern workplace at each of your organizations. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jack. Some valuable tools there and just a glimpse of what you can do to help unlock creativity in your organizations. It's amazing that 80% of our time at work is spent working with other people in a variety of different ways. And that is one of the reasons why teamwork is so important in our organizations and in Microsoft 365. With Microsoft 365, we're looking to help you collaborate on content, connect and communicate regardless of where you are, regardless of what language you speak, and regardless of the role that you're in the organization. We want to help people engage across the organization, find the experts that you need, regardless of where they reside. We want you to be able to engage inside and outside the organization with key business partners and across your supply chain. And one of the important areas of teamwork that's often overlooked is the importance of streamlining and integrating workflow across your organization, across different worker scenarios. One of the areas that we wanted to kind of help frame teamwork in Microsoft 365 is to take a lot of those scenarios for teamwork and apply them to this chart to talk about how people use tools in Microsoft 365 to do teamwork. And I'll start at the hub for teamwork with Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is that hub for teamwork, is the place you can go to enter in to do whatever you want in Microsoft 365. But it's also the solution for you to work day in, day out with your project teams, with groups of people that you're delivering a common deliverable around. You can have many project teams. You can have one project team. It really depends on the type of role that you're in. And we call that the inner loop of people, people that you work with regularly on a day in, day out basis on a project. But there's often a need where you need to tap into what we would call the outer loop. Find that expert that's written that RFP or has coded an application in a specific area that you know is out there, you just don't know who that person is. And so Yammer is the tool that allows you to tap into the power of the social network at work, for you to take people and connect with them across the organization and find new contacts, new expertise, new knowledge. And then, of course, there's email, that ubiquitous communication tool that's still used and will continue to be used for targeted communications inside and outside an organization. And we look at Outlook as being that tool for you to manage not only email, but as you saw from Jack, managing your life, your calendar, your personal life, your work life, and infused with AI to find people as well through Outlook. And at the core of all of these is SharePoint, where collaboration is stored, and we can take AI, like you saw from Jack, and infuse that in documents in SharePoint, as well as Microsoft Stream, which we announced not long ago, which is a repository for all of your videos that applies AI on top of those videos and serves that up across these different applications, where you can do live events and on-demand events. And that's a bit of a view of our teamwork in Microsoft 365. Because of the importance of Microsoft Teams, I want to spend a little bit more time on that. Microsoft Teams has been in market less than 2 years, and it is booming in terms of usage. In less than 2 years, 329,000 organizations now use Microsoft Teams actively. 87 of the Fortune 100 use Microsoft Teams. And Microsoft Teams is very applicable across the global workforce. It's in market in 181 countries around the world and supports 44 languages, and we continue to add languages to Microsoft Teams. Many of you, and I actually would say most of you, are probably Microsoft Teams users. The largest Microsoft Teams user we know of is Accenture, who's surpassed 100,000 users of Microsoft Teams. And so this is a critical application that if you aren't using today, to start using Microsoft Teams. And there's a number of things that we've announced with Microsoft Teams that will continue to expand. We announced last month that Microsoft Teams has all of the Skype for Business online capabilities now. And we're now working with customers to move them from Skype for Business Online to Microsoft Teams. If you're a Skype for Business Online customer today, we really encourage you to start planning your move to Microsoft Teams. In fact, we have a fast track organization that will partner with you in planning that move. If new Office 365 customers, we're going to take them directly to Microsoft Teams for messaging, meetings, and callings. And if you now are on Skype for Business Online and are moving there, you can complete that rollout. But in parallel, we'd really encourage you to plan that move to Microsoft Teams so you can take advantage of the intelligent communications capabilities of Microsoft Teams and that true hub for teamwork in Microsoft Teams. What we're also doing is we're building more and more intelligent meeting experiences. Today, we're announcing in Microsoft Teams that you have background blur that allows you to blur out distractions in the black background during any video meetings or conferences. We're also announcing meeting recordings that allow you to record meetings and then apply AI to those meetings to find relevant information quickly. And we've announced a number of new devices today with our ecosystem of partners that will allow you to light up new meetings in new ways with these devices. And we've also have GA of intelligent event capabilities in Microsoft 365 coming later this year. So you can host live and on-demand events in Microsoft 365 and stream those anywhere in the world, inside and outside of your organization. And we're also taking Microsoft Teams and we're extending that to empower all workers. Today, we're announcing shift management capabilities in Microsoft Teams that allow you to take your first-line workers that work in shifts and give them the tools that they need to manage shifts and trade information with shift workers. And we're also announcing the ability to do announcements out to your first-line workers through Microsoft Teams so you can stay in touch with them and always get them the latest information that you need. And I talked about the importance of secure workflows. This is a core component in Microsoft Teams to allow you to stay compliant and productive across your first-line workers and the entire organization. And today, we're also announcing a new patient care coordination solution that enables doctors and nurses to collaborate more effectively in a HIPAA-compliant way that integrates with their electronic records in the back end. And so to show you a lot of this in action, I'd like to invite out Raji, who is our senior leader in our engineering organization in Microsoft 365. Welcome, Raji.
Thank you very much, Ron. Everyone, I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about how Microsoft 365 brings AI and teamwork together. At Microsoft, I run a team of developers. And a lot of writing code is really teamwork. My team of developers, we use Microsoft 365 for our collaboration, but today, I want to talk to you about how one of our leading customers uses Microsoft 365. What I'm going to show you is based off of a real-world scenario. So in this scenario, imagine that I'm a first-line worker in an airline company. In my company, I've been given this Power App to help me with my job. This Power App has been put together very quickly, connecting many different data sources within the company. I have access to my schedules, I have access to my contacts, but today, on my flight, I have a bit of a problem. My card here, my beverage card that I use to serve my passengers, is a tiny bit broken, so I need to figure out how to fix my card. So I go into my Power App, take a quick picture of it, and send the image back to my corporate cloud for a solution. See, normally, I'd have to call help desk, wait on the phone, wait some more, and then maybe I'll get my answer. But as you can see, with my Power Apps, I get my answer right away. And I can click on the link that it sends me to, and I have the SharePoint site with detailed instructions on how to fix my card. So quick, so simple. So let me take my airline worker hat off for a bit. Now, that may seem a bit like magic. But as you can expect, there is no magic here. It's all technology. This happened because the IT admin in this company has put together a flow using Microsoft Flow that when I sent the image back to the cloud, the flow kicked in, intelligence and cognitive services was applied, the image was processed and identified as a defective cart, and that is how my solution was found. But the flow has also sent me a notification, and it does more than that. It tests if the frequency of the problem is greater than a certain threshold, and if yes, if it connects me to my other favorite apps, like Microsoft Teams and Planner, but I want to show all of that to you in action. So on this side, imagine I'm an operations worker back at the headquarters. My operations team, we use this Teams channel to collaborate. This Teams channel has a lot of very rich conversations. I don't have to look at every single one of the message. The service alert here looks like it needs my attention. This was fired by the flow that I just showed you. When the flow realized that it was a repeated pattern, it automatically fired this alert, so my team can now pay attention. As you can see, my colleagues have already started jumping on it, but not just my colleagues. Ji Woo here, she's an external vendor from Korea, and you can see she has posted a message in the channel in Korean. See, I grew up in India and I speak 3 languages. Korean doesn't happen to be one of them, so I need some help in translating this message. With Microsoft Teams inline translation, I can hit translate, and just like that, I have the message translated in English. But sometimes, though, you can all attest, a face-to-face conversation with your colleagues really does help. So much can be said so quickly, so let me quickly jump on a call with one of my colleagues back on the ground. I want to see what's happening on the ground, but I also want to tell him about the service cart issue that we have found. Hey, Brad.
Hey, what's going on, Raji? It's super busy here. I don't know what's going on, but let me just actually blur this so we can actually focus.
That's so awesome, Brad. With blurring your background, you can focus on the most important things that you want to focus on. In this case, my dear colleague, Brad here. Hey, Brad, I wanted to tell you, there is some problem we have found with the service cards. Maybe they are happening at your location as well, so please keep an eye out, OK?
All right, we'll watch for it.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Like a lot of you, I get invited to a lot of meetings. But I really don't have to attend all the meetings physically. With Microsoft Teams, meetings can be recorded, like this one, right here, and played back at a later time. With Stream, intelligence gets applied, and speech is automatically transcribed to text, which means that then I can go ahead and turn on subtitles. This is super useful for people with disabilities and in high-noise situations. I can also search for specific keywords. Let's see if anyone talked about carts in this meeting. Well, it turns out there are many conversations about carts. I can click on a specific one and jump into the exact point that I'm interested in. This saves me a lot of time. But now it's time for me to close the loop and inform a larger group of people, all the flight crews in the company, of this issue with the service cart. For that, my tool of choice is Yammer. With Yammer, you can have rich company-wide conversations very easily. As you can see, with Microsoft 365, we put AI and teamwork together. This greatly increases productivity and simplifies collaboration. With that, back to you, Ron.
Great, Raji. Awesome. I hope, Brad is going to be here later, so hopefully he gets from the airport to here in time to do his demo. I thought I'd now bring out a customer to talk about how they're shifting to a modern workplace. And to introduce Goodyear, I'd like to roll this video.
Goodyear's mission is to deliver innovative solutions that keep the world moving. We've been innovating for 100 years. Today, when innovation is accelerating at a pace faster than it ever has, it's important for us to be able to connect with each other very, very quickly. Moving to Microsoft 365 was about modernization. We partnered with Microsoft, we went through 9 months of planning, and then we were able to execute in 3 months.
The less time we spend fighting with installs with operating systems, and we can focus on solving problems that are needed for our business and our customers, that's where we win in the marketplace.
Our associates are coming to us and saying, hey, we want to use Planner, or we want to use Teams, and thankfully, because we have a subscription model, we have that possibility. And now we've created a different kind of culture. Instead of having a resistance to change, we have a resistance to stagnation.
We had a workshop that involved teams both in Akron and Luxembourg, as well as around the world. And it was really around enabling our big data strategy. Shared PowerPoint presentations via OneDrive, Skype for Business Connection. We were working on the live whiteboards back and forth. We had people sharing and collaborating in a way that was a game changer.
The digital transformation is enhancing collaboration, it's optimizing operations, and it's improving our overall security.
We're delivering on time, on budget, on performance, and we're producing the best products in the tire market today.
We're modern and innovative in the products and services that we deliver to our customers, and having the right tools that enable that, it's essential. That's why Microsoft 365 is right for us.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Sherry Newbert, CIO at Goodyear. How's that video make you feel?
It makes me feel great. Thank you so much for having us. I'm excited to be here to represent Goodyear, to share our story, and I'm especially pleased that so many of the people who were involved in driving our workplace modernization are here at Ignite today.
That's great to see. So Sherry, we've learned a little about Goodyear in the video, but share a little bit more about the history and the company Goodyear.
Yeah, sure thing, sure thing. Well, you probably know Goodyear as one of the world's largest tire companies, and it's true. We have a 120-year history of being at the forefront of an ever-changing mobility industry. We started with bicycle and carriage tires. We were the first tires on the Model T assembly line.
I thought those looked like Goodyear tires.
They were Goodyear tires. We then expanded into airplane tires, commercial tires, and we were even the first tires on the moon. We are this, and we are much, much more. We employ thousands of engineers, data scientists, computer scientists, and technical professionals, and we have always delivered innovative solutions that keep the world moving forward. Now today, our industry is facing even more changes, from shifting behaviors of our consumers, their expectations, from digital transformation to breakthroughs in technology. These disruptors are accelerating change at speeds unlike anything we've ever seen. So where are we going? Well, the result is the creation of a new mobility ecosystem. And that ecosystem is shaped by something we refer to as FACE. That's fleets, autonomous, connected, and electric vehicles. So as such, Goodyear is focusing its innovation in two areas. The first, tires and the connection to the road, of course. Second is beyond tires, and this is the connection to the car and the user. So harnessing the power of our associates is key to competing and continuing to lead in this new global world, and that's where Microsoft 365 comes in.
That is fascinating. So there's disruption happening with the tire business.
Absolutely.
It's amazing to hear how diverse Goodyear is as a business and how much technology and innovation plays a role in your business as well. Absolutely. And as CIO, you're probably counted on quite a bit to lead the organization through this disruption. How do you see your vision and what are you looking to accomplish by CIO?
Well, really, I'm hoping to accomplish three things. The first is alignment, then enablement, and then balance. So exploring those a little bit more, alignment. Since I became CIO in 2015, my vision has been for IT to be the trusted technology advisor. I'm a big believer in the power of digital tools to transform businesses and to help with growth, but I know that in order to succeed in the digital world, that IT and the business must be attached at the hip. Second, enablement. Well, the digital world is changing fast, we know that, and we must lead with digital innovation. So as IT, we must provide the tools that enable everyone in the company to keep Goodyear's customer at the center of everything we do. Enabling means we need to have the capability to deliver. And that's why we have an initiative under development, which we refer to as Enterprise Digital Dexterity, and it's not just for IT. And finally, balance. Balance as it relates to productivity and security. We both know there's a continuum between productivity and security, and it's something that we're always looking at in IT. We must enhance collaboration, we must drive productivity, it has to be faster, but at the same time, we must keep our information and our systems secure and compliant so we can help protect our customers, our associates, and the company.
You know, one of the things that's interesting is digital dexterity, if I can say that.
Yeah.
Because you often hear, gosh, we put all these hands in these end users and they don't use them or can't figure out how to use them. How are you guys approaching that problem to get people knowledgeable, able to find these great tools that you provide them?
Sure. Well, let me start by defining digital dexterity, or the definition that we use. And it's a long one, but it's worth it. We define digital dexterity as an organization's ability and desire to empower and inspire its associates to use existing and emerging technology and concepts for business outcomes. And so the objective is to increase the digital acumen of all of our associates, our entire workforce worldwide, not just IT. You see, if we're able to bring every associate's digital acumen up, then we increase the likelihood that we will have people who are delivering positive business outcomes in technology, creating customer solutions using technology, and who are more likely to embed technology in their business process. Now you asked, okay, how do you do it? The short answer is tech for tech. So what that means is if we have company-wide conversations that are focused on specific communities of interest, we're using Yammer. For on-demand learning and development of new skills, we use lynda.com, the LinkedIn, from LinkedIn.
LinkedIn Learning.
LinkedIn Learning, yes, okay. That's where our associates have access to thousands of courses and experts. And then within the tech community, what we're doing is we're using nano degrees and certificates, and so we have associates who are getting degrees in full-stack web development, AI and machine learning, IoT and big data, robotics process automation, programming for data science, cybersecurity, and much more.
I love the couple of things you pull out of there. You're inspiring people rather than trying to force them. That's a great cultural attribute, to inspire them to be digital dexterity. And the also thing I pulled out of the video that I loved is no longer do you have this culture of stagnation, but you really have a culture of adoption and embracing change.
Absolutely, yes.
That's awesome. So
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit then about how you've accomplished all of this and what the reaction from people and users across Goodyear is.
Sure. Well, I mean, how we've done it with Microsoft 365, of course. But a little bit about Goodyear, we're 64,000 associates, 48 manufacturing facilities around the world. We do business in over 150 countries. We have R&D centers in the US, Germany, China, Luxembourg. We have innovation labs in Silicon Valley. And so for us, we need workplace productivity, that these tools that enable us to bring all of our diverse knowledge and capabilities together. And that's why in 2014, as you know, we began to adopt Office 365 to modernize our workplace. Now, since then, we have empowered our associates worldwide with Microsoft tools, both productivity and security, and I'm proud to say that we're halfway through the global deployment of Windows 10. As for the reaction, a couple things. We're seeing enhanced collaboration, so we have a multi-generational, multicultural, global workforce. We're seeing that they're now sharing perspectives and ideas more quickly and easier than ever. We're connecting our associates with tools such as Outlook, Skype, Yammer, SharePoint, OneDrive, and we find that our associates are able to take better advantage of these cross-functional, globally dispersed teams, which you saw in our video, where our product development teams in the US and in Luxembourg were working together to accelerate their initiative. Now, on the side of productivity, our associates are able to stay connected and access their content from anywhere, on any device, at any time, which of course means that we can innovate at a greater speed. We also have an IoT proof of concept with Azure, and we're hosting big data that we collect from sensors in our factory floors in the cloud. And with that pilot, what we're hoping to do is to improve our predictive maintenance. So a lot going on there. Now, of course, then there's the final one is around security and compliance. We safeguard our people and our devices through Windows 10 and Microsoft 365. We have a couple different examples of things that we're doing. One is we're using multi-factor authentication globally, so that's better protecting our credentials. We've implemented Intune mobile device management, and that allows us to implement policies and have some data loss prevention. And then from an email perspective, we use advanced threat protection and safe links, which neutralizes the threat before some of these things come into our system. So lastly, I mean, really our Windows 10 rollout and updating our access and identity management is a top priority for us in our cybersecurity program. I mean, we know it's going to protect us against some of these malicious actors.
That's a lot.
Yes.
What's next?
What's next? Well, exciting. So for Goodyear, in tires, we're going to continue to develop industry-leading designs that produce ultimate performance on the road. And beyond tires, you will see Goodyear developing smart, integrated, adaptive products and services for the new mobility system. From the IT point of view, as Goodyear accelerates the realization of its digital ambitions, IT is right there as the trusted technology advisor, leveraging key partnerships like the one that we have with Microsoft. And then, of course, as Microsoft 365 continues to evolve, we'll take advantage of its capabilities. We can trust that it's a cloud-connected, modern desktop will continue to give us the right tools to enable our teams and to be as collaborative and productive as possible while providing an integrated and secure solution that's easier for IT to maintain. We're also evaluating some other technologies. Microsoft HoloLens mixed reality is exciting for us. We see great possibilities with regards to virtual tire modeling and design. Of course, we also see knowledge transfer and global virtual team collaboration. We're looking at AI that's infused in Microsoft 365, such as the Cortana digital assistants and Azure chatbots. We think that's going to bring really great workplace productivity. And of course, we're going to keep an eye on our IoT pilot so that we can look to scale that and that pilot in our factories. Now, the next big initiative on our horizon is our enterprise adoption of Microsoft Teams. The planning is already underway, and we expect both the effort and the outcome to be on par with our implementation and adoption of Office 365 in 2014. We expect that Microsoft Teams will become the go-to social and collaboration platform, essentially the hub for teamwork for our associates. And we know that these are the kinds of tools that help Goodyear maintain its leadership position in this new mobility ecosystem. And then, Ron, of course, you and I both know that when you find and deploy solutions that bring out the best in your people, the possibilities are endless.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. One thing I really take away is you're driving a culture change at Goodyear from your role and with technology. So that's awesome to hear.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us in Orlando.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Sherry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Super valuable to hear what Sherry and the Goodyear team are doing. Now I want to shift to security. You may not know, but businesses lose $1 million per minute when they have a cyber attack. But the reputational risk is far greater than that. Every day at Microsoft, we practice security operations at a global scale. You heard from Satya. Daily, we analyze 6.5 trillion different signals coming around the world. We have over 3,500 full-time security professionals that are using AI to analyze those signals. Security today is an intelligence game, and it's our scale that enables us to take all of that signal, operational experience, and intelligence to help you be more secure with enterprise-class technology. We have a unique approach to security at Microsoft because it empowers you as IT. It empowers the IT professional to leverage the signal intelligence we have and the products that we provide you to provide security across your entire environment. We've also formed partnerships that you heard from Satya to make this a safer world. We see it critical as our role at Microsoft to help with the entire ecosystem to ensure this world is a safer place and is protected, that we protect democracy, we protect refugees, we protect humanity together with that ecosystem through policy and technology and the intelligence that we get from our operations. And I want to focus this discussion specifically on technology. With intelligence security, we're really looking at 4 key categories that we're providing solutions to help you. Identity and access management, ensuring secure access for everyone. while eliminating weak points like passwords. Information protection to ensure data is protected wherever it resides, and you can also apply your compliance policies on that data. Threat protections to help stop attacks before they occur, and security management to help you do your job in securing your organization. It's amazing how much this has come. I remember 15 years ago when I was CIO, we were always concerned about that zero-day attack. And now, with Microsoft 365, you can protect against zero-day attacks. You can protect against the increased sophistication of cyber attacks. One of the key things on that is the Microsoft Security Graph. And we're using capabilities like Microsoft Authenticator, which we announced today, to allow you to eliminate passwords for any of your apps connected to Azure AD. This can help you whether you're a Microsoft 365 customer or if you're using AWS or Salesforce to ensure that you eliminate passwords to any application. We can eliminate 99.9% of attacks just by eliminating passwords. And we want Microsoft Authenticator to be a key application for you to eliminate those passwords. You heard Satya mention SecureScore. All of you that are Microsoft 365 customers have SecureScore available to you. If you use SecureScore, we see that your chance of having a breach is 30 times less with Microsoft SecureScore because it will give you specific actions you can take to increase your score. And you can use that score to continue to drive improvements to your security posture. It's a critical tool that's available to all of you for free that you can access and start driving to. And today, we are announcing the SecureScore is expanded to all of Microsoft 365, so you get that across your entire environment. And with Microsoft Threat Protection, we're taking signals across Microsoft 365 and Azure and our Security Operations Center. And we're bringing that together into one solution with Microsoft 365 called Microsoft Threat Protection that gives you an integrated place to view your threats, report on your threats, and action different recommendations that come through Microsoft Threat Protection. This will speed up time to identify and respond to threats and save you time in your security operations. And we can't talk about security without also talking about compliance. It's important for you to make sure you meet all your regulatory obligations. Microsoft brings over 30 years of experience collaborating with regulators around the world, and we're committed to helping you achieve modern compliance. And to do that, we recently introduced unified labeling in Microsoft 365 that allows you to create, configure, and automatically apply policies across your data wherever it resides. And we're expanding Compliance Manager to offer 12 new assessments to help you manage compliance risk across your organization. And I want to bring Raji back on stage and have her show you some of this in action. Welcome, Raji.
Thank you again, Ron. Passwords are the easiest things to steal from users. People forget their passwords. People use the same password on multiple accounts, making it very easy for attackers to compromise their accounts. Password management is simply painful. As you heard Ron say, with Microsoft 365, you have secure ways to go completely passwordless. You can use things like facial detection, fingerprint reading, and iris recognition on devices that support these features. But even on older devices, you can use a PIN instead of a password, like I'm about to show you. A PIN is tied to the device, is local to it, and is backed by the TPM chip. So even if an attacker has access to your PIN, he or she will not be able to use it to access your account on any other device. This way, you have secured your device using a passwordless experience. But we know you have more than one device. I have more than one device, and you want your passwordless experience to travel with you on all your devices. For example, I have this Mac here, and I use it to access my My Apps portal. As soon as I'm on my My Apps portal, you can see I'm asked to authenticate, and I can do so with my phone using multi-factor authentication. It's asking me to choose a number on my phone that matches with what I see on the device. This way, I need to have access to both my phone and the device at the same time in order to authenticate. And when I use Touch ID, I have access to all my applications in my My Apps portal without using a password. This way, I have secured my corporate identity, but I also want to make sure that I have secured my corporate data. A lot of corporate data gets compromised because of human mistakes. As busy as we are, it's easy for humans to make mistakes. I'm constantly on the go, and I'm on my mobile phone a lot. And my mobile phone has a lot of important data, like this document right here. It's a patent document. It has important and sensitive company information. But when I'm busy and I'm traveling, it's easy for me to make a mistake, like hit save here on my personal Dropbox. Well, thanks to an IT policy, that save is not allowed. My data cannot be saved on external locations. This is the IT policy. This way, the corporate data is secure, but more importantly, the IT administrator has complete control over the life cycle of this document. This is important for compliance and regulatory purposes. But still, malicious attackers know humans make mistakes, and they exploit this fact every single day. Microsoft analyzes 6.5 trillion signals a day to power intelligence for our users. This is why it's important to use intelligence. For example, I have this email here on the top. It seems like it's an email from Satya, my CEO, and my immediate instinct is, whoa, this is an email from my CEO, I better respond to it quickly. And I spring into action, but once I open that email, it's very clear. It's not an email from my CEO at all. This actually is a phishing attack, and the intelligence in Microsoft 365 has detected that this is a phishing attack and put up this big warning. I can still overlook that warning, and I can click the link right here. But thanks to intelligence and ATP safe links, I am still protected from malicious attackers. All of us in this room, we want to make sure that our environments are secure. I showed you a number of features right now that not just improve security, but improve user experience as well. Now, I want to show you how you can set this all up very quickly using the tools that you already have. The first step is to understand where you are with security. Now, I am an analytics person, so anytime analytics and data give me insights that are super useful, I totally love it. Like right here in my admin center, I see my secure score is 161. Now, you may wonder, what's 161? Is it like 42, the answer to life, universe, and everything? Well, turns out 161 is a number that's computed by looking at my security settings and my activities and how they compare with Microsoft best practices. I can use it to see if I'm trending up with security over time. I can see how I compare with other companies in my industry. I can also use the slider right here to see what actions I can take in order to improve my secure score. The first action that I'm being recommended right here is enabling MFA for all my admins. Now, we want you to enable MFA for all your users. Well, we know that can take some time, so you want to start with people with administrative privileges. Administrative privileges, as you know, are very powerful, and we want to make sure global admins are protected. And you do so by clicking right here, and once you have access, once you're able, with one click of a button, you're able to set up admin privileges, MFA for all your admins. The second thing that I showed you was how you can set up policies to prevent corporate data from getting saved on corporate external locations. To do that, I would set up my app protection policies in Intune. As you can see, I've already set up a number of policies right here. This one, the Intune portal, offers you very fine-grained control on your policies. The policy that I set up earlier to prevent corporate data from getting stored on external locations is this one, where I said my users can only save corporate data on OneDrive for Business and SharePoint. The last thing that you saw was how anti-phishing warnings were shown in my emails. Now, we've all seen those phishing emails. They look pretty legit. They don't ask for bank account numbers or social security numbers. They look like they are from people that you can trust. And so it's very easy for people to get fooled by these emails. This is why it's very important for you to set up anti-phishing warnings, and you do so by using this button right here and clicking Save. And now anti-phishing warnings is turned on for all my users. Well, that's it for everything I wanted to show you on security. Now, we know you're working very hard to secure your environments with minimal impact to productivity. And at Microsoft, my team and many teams work very hard to make sure Microsoft 365 works for you. Now, I showed you a number of features on security. You're going to learn a lot more over the course of this week. I hope when you go home on Monday, you set these things up and these things work for you. Have a great Ignite, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome, Raji. I always love seeing the tools that Raji's team is building. So thrilled to have her join us here in Orlando. It's amazing. 85% of IT leaders say they spend as much or at least as much today as they did in the past on just keeping the lights on, keeping the trains running. And this is something we want to help you with. With Microsoft 365, we want to make your job easier. We want to make it simpler. And there's 4 ways in which we want to talk about doing that. One, it starts with the shift to the modern desktop. Modern desktop's the most productive, secure, lowest TCO computing device there is. We want to give you flexible device management, managing across all of the devices in your environment so that users are super productive on their mobile devices, but you also are comfortable that data and information is secure and compliant. We want to give you integrated administration so they have you one place to manage Microsoft 365 and have compliance built in throughout. This all starts, as I mentioned, with the modern desktop. Most productive, most secure, lowest TCO, and we're here to help you move to the modern desktop. The modern desktop is cloud connected. I remember back 15 years ago as CIO, we'd had 3,500 line of business apps at Microsoft. We had these spreadsheets where we go and test every new OS, every new Office upgrade on these spreadsheets. We test every one of those 3,500 apps. It took forever. The modern desktop is about getting to the latest software and always staying there without having to do a large upgrade ever again. We're making that easier for you. We're making it easier with desktop analytics. Gotta make it easier for myself to talk. We're making it easier with desktop analytics. That modern desktop works much better than losing your voice right in the middle of this. All right. Thank you. So we're making that easier with desktop analytics that goes out and surveys your entire environment to understand applications that may need remediation before getting upgraded. We also announced Desktop App Assure. So when you find an application that needs remediation, we will actually remediate that application for you. That's right. We will take that application and make sure it works on Windows 10 and Office 365 Pro Plus for you. This is something you've asked us to do for years, and we're taking on that responsibility. This will help you move to that modern desktop and stay on a modern desktop because a modern desktop is always up to date with the latest OS and latest version of Office. Another thing you've asked us to do for years is to provide you a Windows virtual desktop. And I'm thrilled to say today, we will provide you a Windows virtual desktop running in a Microsoft data center on Azure. It's the only multi-user Windows 10 experience that exists. It's optimized for Office 365 Pro Plus, and you can deploy and scale in a matter of minutes from Microsoft delivered to you. And we announced Microsoft 365 Admin Center a few months ago. And today, we're announcing that we've brought this together with recommendations and insights for you to manage your entire Microsoft 365 environment. And to show you all of this, I'd like to welcome Brad Anderson back from Orlando Airport to demonstrate our products. Welcome, Brad.
Hey, Ron. All right. Well, I got to tell you, being one of the engineering leaders that's working on Microsoft 365, it's been one of the most incredible things I've ever had a chance to work on. You know, we brought all the teams together, and so you sit in staff meeting, you look around the table, and everyone who's working on this is all working from one set of commitments, one set of goals. And I hope you love the things that Ron just talked about. Let me give you a show on it now. So first of all, let's take a look up on the console here. Those of you who are accustomed to using Office 365, you're going to recognize this. Now, what you're going to see up in the top right here is this little toolbar that enables the new preview that Ron talked about. So I'm going to enable that, and you're going to now transition from the Office 365 Admin Center to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Let me give you a quick tour. First of all of you who are IT pros working on anything in Microsoft 365, look at the URL up here. Your entry point is admin.microsoft.com, and that gets you access to all the management now that comes with Microsoft 365. Over here on the left side of the top, these are your daily common routine activities, the things you do over and over again. We've optimized those and done, put you these end-to-end scenarios across Microsoft 365. The bottom here you have what we call the specialist workspace. So if you need something a little deeper, you can dive in there. And then in the middle here, I built this custom dashboard for the things that are interesting for me by pinning what we call cards. And you can see here, I'm watching the threats that Raji was talking about in terms of attacks that are happening. I'm watching if my information is getting classified correctly. Right here, I'm about to start an MDM rollout across the organization. And I'm in the process of rolling out a new version of Windows and Office across the organization, but everything is here in one place for me. Now, let me show you some of the things that we've done here to integrate these common scenarios. So I'm going to come into user management and give you an idea. There's 1.8 million monthly active users of this specific area alone of Microsoft 365. You now have capabilities like I can take bulk actions, change passwords, search, et cetera, If I dive into one of these users, you can see all the integration now. I can see all the devices that the user uses coming in from Intune. I can see the things like what Office apps are they using, what's their usage on OneDrive, but it's all in one place. So one of the first big benefits of the new Admin Center is we've optimized those common routine tasks. Now let me come back home and show you the second new value of this. Ron mentioned the fact that we're going to surface up to you recommendations. Look what's happening here. We are seeing with our intelligence, you have some user accounts that we're concerned about. I can look at the recommendation right here, and it says you should enable MFA. I could click right down here on create that policy, and just that simply, I'm taking input, I'm getting direction from the cloud, that intelligence, to make my organization more secure. So if you are an IT professional working in Microsoft 365, admin.microsoft.com is now your entry place for everything. Now let's look at a couple of these security centers. This new console was built for Teams, and the way that all of you work in IT and Teams. Now there's always a security team in IT. Anybody want to guess what the URL is for the security team for this new console? You got it, security.microsoft.com. We also understand that most of you have got a compliance team that wants to understand and look at all the compliance work that's happening. You want to guess that URL? Yeah, you got it, compliance.microsoft.com. One console, everything coming together. This is the entry point for all your different teams, really enabling all these common actions and surfacing insights up to you. We really hope you love the new Microsoft 365 Administrative Console. All right, let's now take a look at some of the other things that we're doing in terms of compatibility. As Ron mentioned, the modern desktop is always up to date, but we know the single largest cost in time and money is all your compatibility testing. So let me show you what we're doing there. So we're back here in the Microsoft 365 Admin Console. I happen to be in the Device Management Specialist area. I'm going to click down here on this Update Readiness device. First time we've ever shown this publicly, this is the new desktop analytics capability, and this is where we're going to surface up to you and give you insights into all your hardware, your applications, including your internal applications, your Office add-ins, and give you the power to move much faster because we're going to automate all that human labor, all that human work that Ron talked about in the past. So right here, I get a complete view of my estate, all my devices, all my apps, all my Office plugins. And what we do here is we want to help you create deployment plans because the intent here is surface this information up and then help you get into production quickly to verify. So I come and take a look here. I'm going to deploy the latest version of Office and Windows. I go and select my group, and what's surfacing here is actually your groups from Config Manager. That's what all of you are using to manage your PCs today, so we surface that up. I'm going to select that group, set that as my target group, and create that policy. Now here you see all the deployment plans that are happening right now. Let me go into one of these and give you some insights. One of the first things we want to help you do is create a pilot group. So if I come in here and I highlight this particular one, I'm going to come in here and say identify pilot. Now, if you take a look at that number 22 on the left there, that is the number of PCs that was in that Config Manager group that I selected. And if you'll notice there, we give you that percentage, 53.34%. Those 29 PCs represent 53% of your estate, your hardware, your drivers, your applications, and Office plugins. That's not enough. If you want to test in production and get some quick information about does all this work in production, we want to help you increase that. So right here, we're giving you recommendations. We say you should add these 89 additional PCs. That would increase your coverage by 46% and get you up to 100% coverage. There is no way you could do this in the past on your own. This is how you're going to be able to understand and quickly develop that pilot group to go after and get into production quickly. Then in terms of once you get it going, how will you track it? You'll do that in Config Manager. So let's switch over to the Config Manager console. And right here, you're in Config Manager, you see the Microsoft 365 tab there. And right here, I am tracking, and use that green circle right here, the deployment. As I scroll down here, you can see that I'm now also being able to track anything that's being shown to me in terms of applications or things that I should take care of. Desktop's analytics will dramatically decrease the amount of time and effort and work that you have to do in order to stay current with Microsoft and the Microsoft Modern Desktop. All right, one last demo now. Let's take a look at what we call Windows Virtual Desktop that Ron just talked about. So first of all, I'm going to start here, and I'm running a full VDI session. You see here I've got PowerPoint and Word running. It's fluid. It's a very good experience. This is actually a full VDI session that is running on the West Coast, so 2,500 miles away from this. Let me show you something really cool about this. If I take a look here and minimize this for you, this is actually a VDI session running in a browser. There's no agent on the device. This is an HTML plugin. So this truly enables you to take that virtual application, that virtual desktop, and allow your users to get access to it anywhere, anytime, on any device. Now, Ron also mentioned that with the Windows Virtual Desktop solution, you get the rights to run a multi-user session solution on top of a public cloud. You can see all the users I have logged in right now on this particular cloud. This is all running in Azure, and that is a unique value to what we call Windows Virtual Desktop. Now, let me switch over and give you a view here over on this Surface Go device, and let's get the cameraman to come up here and give you a view of this. The Surface Go device is an awesome device. This is actually one of my most favorite devices I get a chance to work on. I'm running a VDI session here. In this case, it's just an application, not the full desktop, and I'm running OneNote. I want to give you an idea of how fluid this is. And so if I come in here, you can see I can ink. Oh, let me go and change that. It's a better color. You can just see how fluid it is. So things like ink work across the cloud. And again, this is running back in Seattle, back in one of our data centers. And so I can do things like I can come in here and I can highlight all of this. And you can just see how easy it is and how fluid the solution is for me, all running virtualized. Now, one of the key things here with application virtualization is you want it to integrate with the way that your users get access and use all their applications. So I'm going to go ahead and take this application, and I'm going to snap this over to the side. Then I'm going to bring Word up. Word is running locally. And so look at this. I've got this common experience for my local apps, for my remote apps. It's wonderful for the end user. It's an integrated experience for both the end user and the IT pro. I can come in and do things here like copy this particular graphic, insert it in there. It all works in a seamless manner because we've done all that integration with Microsoft 365. So I'll tell you, the cloud is enabling us to do things that we just used to dream about. And as we continue to deliver more and more of this intelligence to you in the cloud, it's going to help you to simplify your efforts and, more than important, amplify your efforts and empower your employees. Thank you. Back to Ron.
All right. All right, thank you, Brad. Brad showed you some of the ways to help with tools to simplify their environment and deploy the latest technology from Microsoft 365. In addition, in Brad's organization, we have the Fast Track team. The Fast Track team resides in our engineering organizations under Brad, and they've worked with over 40,000 customers around the world to help you deploy to Microsoft 365 faster, and they're distributed globally. For the last demo I want to introduce is I want to give you a glimpse to the future and talk about what a modern meeting will look like in the future. And this is not too distant of a future. And so I want to invite Rana on stage to introduce this modern meetings demo. Welcome, Rana.
Thanks, Ron. Ron shared what you can be doing today to transform your workplace. Now we want to give you a glimpse into the near future with some conceptual scenarios to show how the services we announced today with AI, mixed reality, and solutions from partners right here in this room can transform the future of work. On the table, we have a prototype device that picks up both audio and video. By analyzing these inputs with a number of AI services, we'll be able to accomplish key tasks like identification, voice transcription, and even real-time translation. So let's start the meeting.
Hello, Ashley. Hello, Matt. Hello, Changqing. Hello, Rana. Hello, Rana. Would you like to start the meeting?
Yes, please. It identified my teammates as expected meeting attendees and asked me, the meeting organizer, if I wanted to get started. So let's get going. Changqing, I know you have to head to the airport soon, but do you have time for a few questions?
我还有几分钟，你们有什么问题，我一定尽力回答。
Okay, perfect. So we discussed the new firmware yesterday. Do we know when we will receive it?
昨天我已经和我们的技术团队讨论过，他们应该下周末之前可以给你。
Oh, that's great.
And I'm getting good movement and temperature data from the discrete sensors, but I need to keep installation costs down. Do you know when we'll have more inventory of the multi-sensors?
大概20天吧，很大一批货已经从上海的仓库运出来了。
Great, I'll follow up next month.
好的，我要走了，希望我回答了你们所有的问题。
You did. Thank you. Have a safe flight back to Shanghai.
再见。
You know, on an unrelated note, I really think we should start to take a look at some construction site pilots. In fact, I think we should redo our demo showcase to highlight more end-to-end scenarios.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Matt, but I think we should focus on our existing Showcase 4 format and just bring in more of the manufacturers. I know we have enough of the Yanzi Motion Plus multi-sensors, but what about the Yanzi Gateway and the Regado 500 IoT Gateway to light up those additional scenarios? What do you think?
That makes sense. I'll take the action item to follow up on that, and then I'll add some data to our Teams channel later today.
Perfect. Everything we've discussed since the meeting started has now been neatly captured as a transcript on the left, and a summary of all of our meeting items now appear on the right. And even though we were interrupting each other and speaking in jargon, the AI services could still accurately transcribe our conversation and identify who was speaking. And our teammate can even speak in her native language, Chinese, and see a real-time translation of the meeting right on her laptop.
Now that we know what's going on with our hardware, let's take a look at some of our sales opportunities. With Cortana, we can interface with custom agents that integrate into our sales tools, helping me to focus my time and attention where I need it the most. Let's take a look. Ask Sales Agent to show deals at risk.
Here are 3 deals that look like they are at risk.
Well, the Fincher deal here has revenue potential of over $1 million, clearly the highest risk of slipping. So I think it justifies us bringing in a little bit of extra support to make sure that we land this. Let's find an expert to help us out.
I found 3 in-house experts. Michael seems like the best fit. He's landed 17 similar deals in IoT. Would you like me to schedule time with him?
Definitely. Michael is our man. Fabulous. And building 2, it's where I'm located. So this sales agent allowed me to complete a company-specific task in a way that was super seamless and productive. This was created using the Cortana Skills Kit for Enterprise. It utilizes the Azure Bot Service as well as Azure Active Directory, providing that infrastructure to build, test, and deploy in a way that's easy to manage and secure. The Cortana Skills Kit for Enterprise opens up so much potential across conversational interfaces in domains like HR, IT, help desk, it just goes on. And today, it's available by invitation.
You know, earlier, Ron talked about Microsoft Search. And what I'm about to show you is available today in our public preview. So, you know, actually having a meeting with someone she's never met before is such a common experience for a lot of us. But it turns out the best way to find internal company data about people is the same thing you're used to doing every day. Just search for it on the web. So like here on my phone, I can go to bing.com and I can just type the name of that expert and I can get information about him right here. And there's Mike. So I can see things like the files he shared publicly. I can see his organization to see if we have anybody in common and even the groups he's a part of. But what's cool is this new conversations view. Here, I can see the public conversations that Mike's been having across Yammer and Teams, so I can really start to understand what's top of mind for him. And I did all that with a single search on my phone. But what's really cool is it also works on the PC too. So now that we've got that expert in, I would love to take a couple days off, but I can never remember the URL or the name of the tool to the site where I'm supposed to enter in my vacation time. But luckily, I can search for that in Bing too. So let me just type time off here. Yes, the Microsoft Time and Absence Reporting tool. Of course, why didn't I think of that? Here's that URL I can never remember as well, but what's great, I don't have to navigate there. I can complete my task right here in the search experience using this modern widget built using Power Apps. So here, in just a few clicks, I can go ahead and navigate over to Monday and grab that. Boom, just like that, I'm good to go. Now, everything I've just shown you, again, is available today in the public preview of Microsoft Search. All you have to do is go to your Microsoft 365 Admin Center and flip the switch. Immediately, you'll get access to your business data in Bing.com. You can also try new search experiences in Office.com and the SharePoint mobile app.
And very soon, we'll be extending the power of Microsoft Search across all of Microsoft 365. Later this spring, you'll find this new experience in the Office desktop apps, Office Online, and in Windows. So right here in the Word desktop app, you'll see this new search bar at the top. I simply click into search, and immediately I get experiences and results that are tailored to my needs, with actions, people, documents, and more. And the search sits within the context of my workflow. So if I switch over to Excel Online here, or maybe this PowerPoint deck, I'm getting actions and results that are tailored to the work that I do in this app, helping me get more done across all of Microsoft 365.
And in the next year, we're going to bring the same search capability right here to Windows. So I can just do that same query I did earlier for time off, and I get the same answer here as well. But you'll notice this is using the mobile experience. That way, IT can set this up once and use it everywhere. But now that I've got that time off, I'd love to see if my wife and kids could come with me for the rest of this trip, but I have no idea what the HR policy is on that. So why don't I just ask, can I bring my wife and kids on a work trip? And let's see. Turns out I can. Awesome. In the future, with machine reading comprehension technology, Microsoft Search can actually understand the content within a document. So it can pull up the right passage and even highlight the answer within it. It also knows that wife and kids is synonymous with immediate family members, that legalese that's in the policy, which enables me to search the way I want and still get the answers that I'm looking for. Now also, we know how important it is to have all of your data accessible from Microsoft and beyond. That's why over time, we'll be bringing a rich set of third-party data connectors to Microsoft Search. So for example, you can see here that I've got data from Adobe and even ServiceNow right here in this new SharePoint mobile app experience. We're excited to bring this new way of working across all of Microsoft 365, and we invite you to come on the journey with us today in our public preview. Now, speaking of new ways of working, Ashley, would you mind dialing in Vivek so that we can review that meeting room occupancy issue we were talking about?
Absolutely.
Cool.
So Ashley's going to be calling Vivek using HoloBeam, a prototype of a 3D holographic meeting experience built by Valora, a Microsoft partner. The cameras behind us here are so that everyone in the meeting room can see the same 3D experience that Ashley and Vivek will see.
Hey, Vivek.
Hey, Ashley.
I was hoping that you had a chance to take a look at that smart buildings pilot. Matt was picking up on some weird occupancy data from the Power BI dashboard.
Yeah, about that. Let's take a look at the building. As you can see, I have overlaid various sensor data onto the building. You would notice something very interesting when I run the time lapse of the day. Pay close attention to the end of the building. It goes dark in the afternoon.
That's those rooms that were showing up on Occupied in Power BI, but why only in the afternoon?
Yeah, Matt. So I looked at the service request data from those rooms. All the service request information tells me that the rooms are freezing cold. But the sensor data tells me that the room temperature is normal. You know, given the time of the day, I'm willing to take a bet that the sunlight is falling directly on these sensors and heating them up. So I'll dig deeper.
Great. Hey, let me know when you confirm that. Thank you. HoloBeam is a great example of how holograms and mixed reality together can bring more meaningful insights into a 3D interaction.
That's great. I'll take the action to share this out with our leadership team.
Great.
Great meeting. Thanks, everyone. So, to wrap things up for today, we'd like to show you the first public demo of the Surface Hub 2. We're incredibly excited about how mobile this device is. It's super easy to move around, so we can collaborate from anywhere, like right here. And I love the flexibility. It adapts to the way that I want to work. It's pretty cool. Now, I'm going to log in and bring up my content on the hub too. I've enrolled in this device before, so I'm able to securely log in by just using my fingerprint. And you'll see that I'll start to bring up all the documents that I've been recently working on, like this Excel file right here. Now, this file has some of that temperature sensor data that we were talking about earlier. And I'll be able to manipulate this data and work with this content on the Surface Hub 2, just like I would using Excel on my computer.
Yeah. Actually, I've been looking for data just like that. Would you mind if I use this graph?
Yeah.
OK, let me just take a look at it.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
Let me just bring it on over for you over here.
Great. I'll just pull down my deck here from OneDrive. I've been working on this deck, and I think that the data actually would help round out a little bit of what I'm trying to land with the customer next week.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to save me a ton of time. I've been kind of like mining through a bunch of data trying to create something. Perfect. And slide 4. Looks good. Exactly what I needed.
Looks great.
Thank you.
So, yep. Let's pause here for a second. Ashley and I just both individually logged in to the Surface Hub 2 by using our fingerprints. We were both able to securely access our own content off of our own OneDrive for Business accounts on the Hub 2 at the same time, to then share content across. That's pretty exciting. Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah.
Today, we've shown you our vision for the future of modern work and how we can leverage the power of AI and mixed reality to connect our physical and digital spaces. In this multi-sense, multi-device world, we can now create opportunities for anyone to collaborate in more immersive ways. Thank you. Ron?
That was awesome. Thank you, Rana, Ashley, and team. Love the demo. As you heard, some of that's available for you to use today, like Microsoft Search and the Cortana Enterprise Skills. Some of it's coming in the near future, and I know you can't wait to get that Surface Hub 2 in your offices. We covered a lot today, and this is going to be a busy week. But this is the week to start transforming to a modern workplace. There's a number of sessions you can attend. Everything I talked about today has a session. Go learn deeper. We've got experts across the board that you can tap into. I look forward to meeting many of you and look forward to the connections that you bring. I want to thank you for the partnership. Thank you for everything you do for Microsoft. I look forward to building that partnership together. Have a great week at Ignite.